Marty, you gotta come back with me. Back to the SeaWorld.
Let's go to the park!
Because after being closed since December, SeaWorld has been allowed to reopen once again as a zoo. Of course, that means that the rides still aren't open, but at least we get to be in the park. But even though the park has been closed for the past couple of months, SeaWorld has been busy. There's some new happenings in the park, including a new show. Though the new show is a little bit different than what you might be used to seeing here at SeaWorld, we'll get more into that later. Wow. I seem to have found the bird bathroom. That is one big pile of poop. Now this is actually the second day that the park has been open in 2021, but even though the park has been closed for the past couple of months, I think the attendance is gonna be a little bit low today. I hear there's some big football game happening or something. Remember that time we went to Disneyland for Super Bowl Sunday? I know it's Super Bowl Sunday. I heard it's supposed to be packed on this day, but this does not seem to agree with that notion. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Now, since it's been a couple of months since we've been here, how about we go say hi to some of our friends? Yeah, there's a friend up there. Although that might not be the most comfortable perch. How's it going, buddy? That bird doesn't work for the park, but still a friend. Looks like the dolphins are getting some breakfast and having a little morning playtime. You know, despite all the regulations and all the rigmarole happening with the thing, SeaWorld's got some stuff planned for this year. The Sesame Street Parade of Lights drive-through experience has been going on for a little while and is continuing through the month. And they're taking the drive-through concept and applying it to Electric Ocean, which normally happens during the summer, and is supposed to be happening in its normal time slot, in its regular format. They've also added something that I'm really looking forward to this year. This year, SeaWorld San Diego is getting the Hallow Scream, which isn't as tame as the SeaWorld Spooktacular. It's one of those 13 and up events. Scary. So if everything goes according to plan this year, we'll have haunts at Knott's Berry Farm and SeaWorld to look forward to. You know, since Knott's Scary Farm has an ocean-themed haunted house, perhaps SeaWorld should do a Western one. Yeah, it could be like back in the 80s when Knott's Berry Farm added a dolphin show, and SeaWorld's Vice President of Marketing, Bill Thomas, said that would be like SeaWorld getting into the ride business. Well, I think we all know how that went. It went up and then over and then down and through a loop, and that's exactly how it went. All right, let's stop by and say hi to some of our pink feathered friends. Though, we still can't feed them. That's okay. They get fed. I can tell this flamingo is definitely a runner. Doing some warm-up exercises. Hi, friends. Coming over to see me. Yay. Oh. That was a short visit. Yep, just look at all these flamingos. Oh, we got a poser in there. Good old Mr. Poser Bird. Love that guy. One of the new attractions is sea turtle feeding time. Not that they didn't feed them before, but now it's a little bit more of a presentation. Looks like Poser Bird got a packet of something.
There you go. Welcome. My name's Eileen. I'm here on behalf of the Education Conservation Department. I'm here with our first Jake and we have a loggerhead sea turtle in here and a hawksbill sea turtle, and they are being fed some leafy greens. Jake is throwing in a cucumber right now, and some lettuce. And is there any other kind of leafy green?
Yeah, we're feeding bok choy today, some collard greens.
Collard green?
Pretty varied assortment of produce. Typically it's mixed with greens though. We don't really feed fruit. On occasion we do feed them fun types of stuff, pumpkins for Halloween.
So they get pumpkins on Halloween, plus the food.
Very
So green sea turtles mainly eat greens and vegetation in the ocean, like seagrass, kelp. Here they're getting fed some really good leafy greens. And then protein is every other day. So the hawksbill and the loggerheads, and do the green sea turtles also eat some protein? Or? Okay, so they all get the variety. They eat jellies and coral out in the ocean, but the protein that they get here is a lot more dense. Just talking about their physical characteristics. So we have our green sea turtles in here. They're not necessarily very green. It's all about what's on the inside is green because of all of the leafy greens that they do eat and vegetation. We do have a loggerhead sea turtle in here, and the best way to identify them is by taking a look at their head. Loggerheads have a much larger head and a thicker neck. Green sea turtles have a smaller head. And they have a different coloration. Loggerheads are a little bit more brown. I just found out yesterday that we have a hawksbill in here, which is very exciting. It has kind of like a beak that looks like a hawk. That's probably the best way to identify it. And also by taking a look at their carapace, which is their shell. Their scoops kind of overlap, and they have a more jagged outline to their shell. So if you take a look, maybe if you guys can see, they have their overlapping scoots, which are modified scales, as opposed to the green sea turtles or the loggerheads, which have them much more fused and a smoother look on the outside. Technology is so recent. Now I'm sure scientists will be able to research a lot more on these turtles. However, it has been difficult to track them because they live in the ocean.
Well, that was fun and informative. Turtle power. And apparently, I was right about attendance today. People are just home watching some football. Yep, nice, relaxing day in the park. With not a whole lot of people. Even the Bayside Sky Ride only has a 5-minute wait on it. Now, if only the ride were open. California! Okay, let's go check out one of the new presentations.
We rescue animals, everybody knows that, like Dave was talking about. We actually rescue more animals than anybody else in America, and we get them back out into the wild. 70% of the time, which is a great average, we get them back out into the wild. Sometimes immediately, like these lobster traps over here, these were actually all wrapped up. All these traps right here and ropes and everything were all wrapped up around a whale. Then we went out there and we got all that stuff off and immediately released them. Those buckets right there were full of concrete, and the concrete was weighing down the anchor and all these ropes and everything, and a green sea turtle was all wrapped up in it. These are things that we do all the time. But sometimes we can't totally fix the animal, but that's okay. These animals that can't go back in the wild, they get a second chance at life being an ambassador. They get to travel with us to school groups.
What is this? That's right, this is the coolest creature we have wandering here in California. This is the Virginia opossum. Every animal you're gonna meet here today has kind of a unique story on why it's at our center. This little girl, she came up to the lady driving home at night, and she was driving along, and before she could stop, she hit an opossum with her car. And that's often sad, but it does happen quite a bit. And this lady, she's very smart. She had heard somewhere that a possum, they're marsupial. They're related to kangaroos and koalas. The marsupials are the pouch mammals. She had heard somewhere that even if a mother possum is dead, maybe, just maybe, there might still be some babies alive in that pouch. She was very brave. She went over there, she bent down, she opened up that pouch, and inside that pouch, 5 little baby opossum, each about the size of my thumb. Little tiny guys. She didn't know what to do, so she scooped the whole mess and she brought it up to us at our center. And you know what? Our veterinarians worked very hard to save their lives. They did great, and all of them survived. But one of them, this one, she just wasn't thriving. She wasn't gaining weight, a problem which has since been solved. She wasn't doing very well, she wasn't climbing, so when it came time for those to go free, she had to stay at our center. Love being able to share with you and talk about this amazing animal. Now, Opie is 3 years old, and that might not sound that old, but 3 years, that is the life expectancy of an opossum. Short life. But in 3 years, a female opossum can give birth to over 50 babies.
Now that's our only marsupial that we have here in America. But this is an animal that's from where most marsupials live. Most marsupials live in Australia, right? Kangaroos and koalas and wombats and everything. But even though that's what Australia is famous for, I think it should be famous for this little guy right here. He doesn't look very much. He's very unassuming, a little brown bird with the biggest, greatest call of any bird in the world. You've heard it before, but not in the right place. You've heard it at the jungle movies. You've heard it in the background of every single jungle movie you've ever seen, but this bird is not from the jungles. This bird is from the arid outback of Australia. Now, its name is the sound that it makes. It's an onomatopoeia. Its name is kookaburra. Yeah, you've heard of it before, right? Some of you adults sang the kookaburra song in kindergarten. Kookaburra sits in the old country. Well, there was a lady in Grant Bay, California that thought that she might want to have one of these guys. She bought it on the black market and brought it home and thought, oh, it'd be really cool to hear that call every morning. But her neighbors didn't think so. You guys want to hear her call? Ready? Here we go. Well, all the neighbors didn't think it was so great, and they turned her in, they followed us up, and the authorities at the California Parkfish Wildlife brought him to us, and Quigley here, he is very famous for that call, but I think Quigley here should be famous for another reason. Yeah, for one thing, oh yeah, there you go, now it's nice and light. He was getting heavy there for a second. He doesn't look like much, but this little bird right here, in Australia, can eat a 6-foot snake. Where they remember the kingfisher family, but instead of fish, where he lives is dry, it's all about the lizards and snakes.
This is Whizzer, and he is the turkey vulture. He gets up every morning. First thing he does, he'll spread his wings. Spread those big wings out there, Whizzer, all the way out. He'll spread those wings out and he'll sunbathe. He'll go, oh, the sun feels so good. He'll heat himself up. Once he's nice and warm, he takes off his perch. He flops those wings just once or twice, and he starts to soar. Big, lazy circles. He's up there, he looks lazy. He's actually working. He's smelling. Look at his beak. He has a hole that goes all the way through the top of his beak. He's taking as much wind as possible. And when he smells something really stinky, something really rotten, something that smells totally disgusting and gross and has been dead for a while, you know what he says? Lunchtime. This beautiful soaring bird, he actually came to us. Somebody shot him in his left wing. Why somebody would do this? We have no idea. This guy here, he's been grounded ever since. He could be 40 years old. We have really no way of knowing. He's been in our center a long time. Love sharing him. That's the turkey vulture. That's Mr. Whizzer.
Yes, that's a beautiful bird, but I'm going with cute now.
Yeah, it's kind of cute.
Yeah. Who wants a monkey as a pet? Every single time somebody tries to make a monkey into a pet, it never works out. We hear about them. We have over 50 monkeys that have been brought to us from illegal pet situations. We just got one a few months ago from a famous rapper. You all know who he is. I'm not allowed to say his name. But this one right here has been with us for almost 30 years. Yeah, since 1994. She was found in a garbage dumpster right here in Southern California. Animal control got a call that there was something in the dumpster making noise, and they went over and they found this little limp monkey. She was very sick. She spent about 6 months in our hospital here, getting better, getting over pneumonia and everything else. But finally, she was well enough to start working with us, and she learned very quickly that being in our arms is the safest, best place to be. Now, she is already almost 40 years old. But this little spider monkey just got a new friend.
This is a capuchin monkey. It gets its name for the French monks. The French monks that wear a brown cloak and a black cap. And when the first explorers came to the New World, they saw these monkeys and said, oh, they look like the capuchins. The spider monkey. Called the spider because of this. When this animal moves through the branches, it hangs like and cuts its fingers and moves along. When this one moves, she moves like a squirrel. Her hands are like 4 fingers and an opposable thumb that does this. Her fingers, only 4 long fingers. 4 long fingers like this, like a cup, so they can break it and move through the branches like a gymnast. Everybody loves monkeys, but 90% of the world's primates are endangered in the wild. 90%? Boy, I sure hope in the coming years we do everything we can to protect the rainforest that these beautiful animals call home.
Gabe always talks about how smart that monkey is, but he's got nothing on this bird. This is the smartest bird in the world. Well, not him, he's an idiot. But ravens. Ravens in general are the smartest birds in the world. Even though they've got a brain the size of a shelled walnut inside there, they can actually solve puzzles and solve problems that hardly any other animal can solve. Now this guy here, this is Beals, he's about 10 years old now. He's been with us for 9.5 years because at 6 months old, he was brought to us by a veterinarian. You see, this little boy found a nest that had fallen down in a storm, kind of like the ones we had a couple weeks ago. A nest of 5 little baby ravens. He decided to bring them in and try to take care of them himself and make them into house pets. And after the 4th one passed away, he finally took this guy into the vet. And he learned real quick that he really didn't know what he was doing. Incredible, beautiful animal, but we gotta get off the stage now because he doesn't like this next one.
Well, I love the reptiles. This is your neighbor, the Northern Pacific rattlesnake. Check her out. Oh shoot, where did she go? We did that in the school once. It says, oh shoot, where'd she go? And this teacher stood up screaming and ran out of the auditorium. This is Precious. Isn't she beautiful? This is a very misunderstood creature. For instance, the rattle. You know, when I hear rattlesnake shake his tail, I don't think of that as anger. I think it's fear. It's afraid. She shakes her tail as a sign of fear. If you heed the warning, guess what? She'll leave you alone. It's pretty much that simple. Oh, let me tell you why we have her. She got hit by a weed whacker. The guy was out cutting his grass with a big industrial weed whacker, and he cut her across her tail really badly. Almost cut her tail completely off. Luckily for her, this guy grabbed a box and quickly took her to Walmart. Walmart is the largest retailer in the nation. Anyways, he scooped her up and sent her to our vet hospital. Our man saved her life, but when she strikes, she always misses. That's little Precious. Let's say goodbye to Precious.
Not the only reptile that's found in California. Yeah, I said found in California. Don't worry, there's not alligators in our lakes and rivers. This is an animal that often gets found in people's homes. Yeah, you see, in my lifetime, and I'm not that old, when I was old kid, in my lifetime, these guys were almost extinct. Alligators were almost gone, almost wiped off the planet. We used to hunt them for their belly skin, and we almost wiped them out. But we stopped and we used our heads and we saved them. Now, there's over 5 million alligators back in the wild. How cool is that? We got a call from the LA County Sheriff's Department. They were doing a drug raid, and they said, hey, we got a problem, we need your help. So Gabe and I went down there. We walk into this house, we really don't know what to expect. And there was all these sheriffs. They were standing in the hallway. Big dudes. They like had bulletproof vests and these guns and everything, and they're standing there like this, and we walked in, and they all of them at the same time went like this. Walked over there in the bathroom, in the bathtub, was this little guy. Yeah, he was only about 4 feet long at the time, and he charged the door, sure enough. We went in to open it, and he came out, whoa, and opened his mouth and everything. We just laughed at him. We picked him up. He's been with us for almost 30 years. He's been with us for a long time, and now he gets to go to school groups, and kids have an immediate connection with these guys. You know, you should be proud. We've actually done a pretty good job. You should be proud as Americans. We've saved the alligator, we saved the bald eagle, the peregrine falcon, we're saving the condor, we saved the Channel Island kit fox. When we try, we can actually do a pretty good job. And I'm happy that these guys
are still around. Let's head to the Arctic. How about we go to the Arctic for a minute? This is a caribou. Everybody say caribou. It's kind of a fun word to say. This is the deer of the Arctic North. They're totally adapted to walk on the tundra, the ice and the snow. Wide splayed hooves like snowshoes. This wonderful fur, it might not look so nice, it might be a little shabby, but that fur keeps them really warm, even in the coldest of climates. Do you know there are caribou herds that walk 1,500 miles from Alaska down into Canada every year to escape the harsh winter, and then they turn around and head back north 1,500 miles. That's a 3,000-mile migration. Animals, herds up to 500,000 animals all together in these one herd. It's an amazing thing to see. Do you guys know what you call a domesticated caribou? Reindeer, very good. This is the ancestor of the reindeer, of the domesticated version. And you know the difference between a caribou and a reindeer? Reindeer can fly. All right, that is Yukon from the Arctic. Come on, buddy.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed the animals that you met today, ones that you don't normally get to see here, ones that are always behind the scenes, going to the schools and everything. I love it. I always hear from parents. My kids came home from school today and they said they got to see an alligator. Do you guys have that here? Nope, it's at another school. But now we're traveling around all the parks so that you guys can get a glimpse of these wonderful animal ambassadors. If you see any wildlife in distress, do us a favor and call a professional. Don't try to take care of it yourself. We've got teams of people, and so does the zoo, and so do veterinary hospitals and animal control to go out there and help you with that. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
That was so cool. Honestly, presentations like that highlight one of my favorite things about SeaWorld, and that's their rescue and their conservation efforts. Also their education. That's really important. You know, like the more you know and stuff. Because as much fun as the rides and all the shows and everything are here, SeaWorld does really important work with animals. I really don't know what we would do without SeaWorld Rescue here in San Diego. Someone would have to step up and take their place. They rescue a lot of animals. A lot of them injured by humans.
And the strength that we gathered from each other, and the time, the effort, the energy, the passion the people I work with put into rehabilitating this common dolphin, it all came to fruition in that one moment when we were able to give this dolphin a second chance at life.
Oh, hey, check it out. It's my homie, Elmo. Oh yeah, me and Elmo go way back. Me and Elmo are like this. He's the one that first told me how to get to Sesame Street. That was a long time ago. Because as you and I both know, nobody just goes to Sesame Street. Somebody has to tell you how to get there. Okay, we've watched the sea turtles get fed today. Now it's the penguins' turn. Well, they all look ready to eat. Prepare for incoming fish. right, the sea turtles have been fed. The penguins have been fed. Now it's my turn. Because among all the new stuff that's going on here at SeaWorld this year, they got some new food too. One new item that I was looking to try today is unavailable because that particular restaurant is closed. So we're gonna find another option. How about we hit up old Shipwreck Cafe, see what kind of new stuff they got. Hidden Mickey? Nah. All right, we're gonna go with the hot honey sriracha chicken wings with some carrots and celery. I suppose hot wings are appropriate for this day since the Super Bowl's happening today and I'm not at any Super Bowl parties, so might as well have some wings. Somebody else wants some wings too, but don't you know, like bird eating another bird? That's kind of weird. Oh look, it's Heron Knight, ladies and gentlemen. Look, you shouldn't be eating chicken wings. That's like one step away from cannibalism. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? There's a picture of the aftermath, and there's a picture of wishful thinking. Okay, those are some pretty good wings. If you come here, I can recommend. The only thing I can think of that would make them any better would be some kind of bomb dipping sauce. Ooh. And on that flavor note, it's time for me to head out. Thank you so much for joining me today on a little trip to SeaWorld for their second day open in 2021. Till next time, see you later.